Okay, so back in like 2012 or 15, me, my friend Brendan, and Megan, we wanted to make a comic book, and we didn't know what to write about. Well, there was one time we were hanging out, and we talked about I forgot whose idea it was, but guy with the sword came, and he had a sword. It was a wooden bamboo sword, and it's because my friend Brendan, he had one that was kind of cool. So anyway, long story short, I wanted I went out to Green Canyon. I sat down and I'm like, I have to make the lore real quick of what comic book we're doing. And I saw a bunch of wasps everywhere, and I talked about how much I hated wasps. And I was like, oh man, the bee population is dying. So then I made the lore. So here's the lore for the comic book series called, in quotations, this is the name, it's called Him. Because you don't know who the guy is, the main character. You don't hear the main character's name. But anyway, let me give you the lore real quick. So, keep in mind, this is fictional. Obviously, this is not how science works. And the years, this is just in the lore, okay? So, 2016, a paleontologist, and this is all my creation, 100%. Pretty sure this was 100%. Brendan and Megan might have been able to help me, but I don't know for sure. Anyway. But I do remember sitting down writing this outside by a lake with a bunch of wasps. 2016, paleontologist Richard Davis finds a foreign plant trapped in the amber. So this is kind of a ripoff of Jurassic Park. Haven't seen the movie, but people tell me that's a ripoff. So scientists find out that this they break this ancient plant's genetic code, and a year later, in 2022, they have now found scientists have solved 99% of all genetics. Like, they understand genetics and how to like do a bunch of gene stuff. In the same year, scientists regrow that little plant that was in that amber using asexual reproduction, and find out that plant has a cell structure that releases a lot of pheromones in the air, so they can communicate maybe. So they find out, and then a year later after that, in 2023, they find out that several plants can communicate with insects such as bees to communicate. So these plants releasing pheromones talk to the bees like, hey, pollinate me. So then they come to the bees and get pollinated. In 2025, plants start to adapt to the surroundings and move through the dirt to more sunny areas. Scientists notice and crossbreed these plants to make them very mobile. So the plants are in the grass, they're in the dirt. And if the sun's over there, they can sense that, and they will slowly, like, with their roots, kind of move towards the sunny area, like move in the ground to the sunny area. So 2 years later, the UN and many other countries work together and bio-enhance these plants everywhere on Earth, so that way we can save the bee population. So they plant these plants everywhere, make it so they can move a lot to get sunny areas and have them communicate to the bees. So everywhere there's bees come in and they save the bee population. It was 2027. 2030, they made a foundation called Rescue the Bee Foundation, and has been a success. But too much of one, remember, we gotta have conflicts. The plants are becoming way too mobile, and they're starting to stay out of the dirt and walking for extended periods of time, and they have become an invasive species on Earth. So what they're doing is they're moving, they're destroying other plants, and they can get out of the dirt, they can walk with their roots like little plant humans. And 1 year later, the first recorded death ever from a bioenhanced plant occurs. So this is a plant that literally kills somebody. First time ever, a plant literally murdering somebody on its own free will. Like, it was probably like a toddler or something that went into the wilderness, and a plant like killed it for survival. In 2033, these plants are really starting to communicate, not with the bees, but with each other. They're starting to like communicate primitive, that's not the term, tribes like cavemen would. And 2036, and there's a ton of these all over the world, they grow everywhere. 2036, they don't even eat food. The thing is, they can breathe from the sun. They're just evil. So 2036, human population went from 8.5 billion to 900 million. So literally the plants have taken over the earth at this point. They've killed billions of people, and they've made it so, somehow the plants have made it so they block bullets away from each other. So the only way to kill them is with a bamboo sword. or a nothing metal. Honestly, some metals aren't magnetic, but for some reason these plants have figured out how to avoid that. So you can't, and also you can't shoot a plant. Like, it's just so thin. How are you gonna shoot it, huh? And they're everywhere. They are invasive. They can just breed asexually so easily. In 2040, killer weeds, that's what they call it, killer weeds, fully enslave the humans and start a new world order of plant kind. And then the story takes place of year 4 of plant kind, present day. There's a man, and he has to save somebody. He saves a girl. But anyway, that's the lore of the story of him. It's a story about how plants. This is like before the comic even starts. This is like a bullet point list, and it's like 2016. This happened. Plants slowly start getting more evolved. People start planting them everywhere. They save the bees. They just wanted to save the bees, and now the plants are coming out and killing everybody. So now the plants are dead. They killed everybody. Well, not everybody. Some people. They enslaved the humankind because humans can do more things than plants can. But this is year 4. This comic starts in year 4 of plant kind. This is also another introduction I came up with. For the longest time, reptiles ruled the world. They were the dominant species until an asteroid came and allowed mammals to reach the top of the food chain. But people often overlook what the dinosaurs replaced. Here's the thing. The reptiles replaced the plants at the beginning. The reptiles, see, before the dinosaurs became like the #1 species on Earth or whatever, there was plants. And plants ruled. They walked, they talked, they did everything. Then the dinosaurs ate them all or whatever. They weren't that crazily like evil or whatever. They didn't have the evil gene in them. But then asteroid came, killed the thing. So the whole story is, what did the dinosaurs replace? It was plants. It was like insects and then dinosaurs and then mammals. That's how it really was, I think. But in this case, it was plants. And we didn't know about this because plants are just plants, you know. But, yeah. That's my story. Storyline of him. This is the first book called Okay, him wakes up in a random place, has no memory, encounters weed, that's what we call the evil plants, weed, runs to find some wood, 2x4, in an old shed, kills plants, finds out about how they can block metal from them, so he has to use the wooden sword, walks around, salvages, and finds humans. That's all I have. Check it out.